We Band of Angels, The Untold Story of American Nurses Trapped on Bataan by the Japanese, 1999, by Elizabeth M. Norman delves into the riveting experiences of a group of nurses who valiantly cared for the sick amidst the harrowing backdrop of the Bataan Death March during World War II. Driven by a desire to shed light on the often overlooked role of these remarkable female nurses, Norman, a New York University professor, embarked on this research and narrative journey. Her personal background as a registered nurse, combined with her parents' military service and her enduring fascination with nursing and the military, informs her perspective. The book covers themes of selflessness, courage, perseverance, the role of gender in the military, and compassion. Norman conducted interviews with 20 of the surviving nurses who endured the ordeal of the Bataan Death March and nearly 3 years as prisoners of war in an internment camp. Norman initiates her narrative nonfiction by painting a vivid picture of the tranquil environment of a U.S. military base in the Philippines before the outbreak of World War II following the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Institutions like Sternberg Hospital in Manila, accommodating 450 beds, offer leisure amenities such as golf courses, bowling alleys, and movie theaters. These settings sometimes resemble country clubs more than military sites of war. Although all the nurses are trained by the Navy or Army Nurse Corps, they were never prepared for combat situations. However, the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Imperial Japanese Navy swiftly alters their circumstances. In response to the escalating conflict, hospitals throughout the Philippines are ordered to halt all regular services and prepare for potential attacks, which occur just one day after the assault on Pearl Harbor. The Japanese Navy's formidable fleet of 250,000 men overwhelms the American and Filipino forces defending Manila, the capital city. The forces, which include the female nurses stationed at Sternberg Hospital, strategically retreat to the nearby peninsula known as Mariveles, or Bataan. A pivotal moment arises when a commanding officer orders the evacuation of only American nurses. However, when a nurse insists on the safe evacuation of both American and Filipino nurses from Manila, the commanding officer eventually relents. Bataan's rugged terrain, shrouded in its untouched state, proves challenging. The area teems with poisonous snakes and large rats. Amid this environment, the nurses establish 2 makeshift hospitals, one of which narrowly escapes bombing. Despite the constant presence of swarming flies and mischievous monkeys that pilfer their equipment, the nurses diligently attend to the wounded and ill. Norman skillfully incorporates letters and diary entries from this period, providing a first-hand perspective. An entry from 1942 recounts a nurse's discovery of worms in her oatmeal, ongoing weight loss, and the depletion of essential medications at the makeshift hospital. With limited U.S. aid, Filipino and American forces surrendered to Japan within a month of the initial attack. The Japanese divide the 73,000 Filipino troops and 14,000 U.S. troops into units of 100. In the scorching heat that fosters dysentery, malaria, and roundworms, the Japanese forces inform the newly captured prisoners of war that they must endure a grueling journey of nearly 65 miles through inhospitable terrain to reach a prison camp on the opposite side of the island. This brutal death march claims thousands of lives due to starvation, preventable diseases, or the actions of Japanese soldiers. Estimates vary from 500 to 10,000. Fortunately, the female nurses are spared from walking alongside the male troops. The internment camps at Santo Tomas and Los Baños grapple with severe overcrowding. The group of 99 nurses, 72 American, 27 Filipino, continues to care for their patients. However, they themselves face a range of medical problems, including scurvy and pellagra, as they strive to provide care in challenging circumstances. Norman conducts further interviews with survivors, revealing their adaptation to dire circumstances. Worms in their oatmeal and the anticipation of cat food become part of their routine. The scarcity of fresh water drives people to sneak into the hospital to drink blood. Remarkably, amidst these challenges, the nurses find the strength to create Christmas presents and share songs together. Lacking hairpins, many of them opt to cut their hair very short, a decision that later proves beneficial for their duties. Their liberation finally arrives in 1945, when U.S. forces release them from captivity. Norman delves into the reception these women receive upon returning from the war. Despite their immense sacrifice, the prevailing attitude in 1945 doesn't view women as war heroes. Journalists often ask them trivial questions, like whether they feared rape or were surprised by changes in American fashion during their absence. None of the nurses reported being raped. In the early 1950s, several nurses and male Army members nominate Major Maud Davison for a Distinguished Service Medal in recognition of her extraordinary efforts during World War II. However, the Army declines to award any woman a prominent medal for their wartime contributions. During Norman's interviews with the surviving 20 nurses, all of whom are now in their 80s, they express lingering regret over being compelled to leave wounded men behind during the war. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.